building cities, more roads, more parking lots, more movie theaters, more centro comerciales, right, shopping malls. And so I thought, well, and a group of my friends and people who are involved, Juan Carlos also, is that, well, this is kind of crazy. I mean, Ecuador is losing the opportunity to protect what is theirs, which are the birds and their nature and their trees and their plants and whatever, and they're also losing the opportunity of benefiting, in other words, getting money that will help them. So when you say, for example, this bird here, this one here, this is a toucan, and it lives more or less in the area of the northwest, down the Andes towards Lindo is a good place, but there are other areas for it. I once tried to make a calculation. I once tried to figure the numbers, how much this bird is worth. How much Ecuador benefits from the fact that this bird is there, it lives here. And it's very hard to do because you don't know why people are coming, but in the last 30 years, the number of people who have come to Ecuador to see this bird and a bunch of others probably goes into the billions of dollars that Ecuador in some way earned. People buying tickets to come, people staying in hotels. A number that is close to what petroleum could bring, even if it isn't as much, it's a little less, it still has value. And so we need to protect it, and we need to show it, and we need to educate people to be able to manage to protecting it and to doing the tourism so you don't hurt the birds, but you keep them. And so basically this whole process has come into, in the last few years, is trying to convince the Ecuadorian government that Ecuador's birds are important. They're an important resource so that Ecuador can be in better shape, have more money, have more, a better lifestyle, that things can improve. And many, many, many poor communities, the prime resource, you know, in many cases to have a factory to make shirts, to make clothing, you have to buy the thread, you have to buy the material in order to produce. With birds, you don't have to do anything. You just start looking at them because they're there. And so these are things that we have a bunch of people working now on this basically because Ecuador has lots and lots of birds. Okay? I don't know if you have any questions, if there's any. One way.
Birds that help to pollinate the plants, mostly hummingbirds, and in this case sometimes flower piercers can contribute to pollination.
There are others, any birds that feed on flowers. Hummingbirds are designed for that. They have evolved with flowers. So as many, I don't know if you know that supposedly birds are actually dinosaurs. And they say they came around the same time as dinosaurs. And as things developed, as flowers evolved, so did hummingbirds. And that's why hummingbirds sometimes have long beaks or curved beaks. And you'll see flowers that are long, sometimes curved. And so the hummingbirds have evolved specifically to pollinate flowers.
See, we have hummingbirds with beaks which are longer than its body, like this one. We have
that now exist. But if anything changes more, global warming, you've heard of global warming? Calentamiento global. If the temperatures begin to change too much, many species, not only hummingbirds, and not only birds, there are going to be lots of things that are going to disappear just because the temperature raises. And those things change when we talk about climates. If it's cold up in the Paramo and the Paramo gets warm, the birds that need cold are going to die. And so we're in a very, very, very crucial moment now in the history of Earth where we're just watching what's happening with the temperatures. And we know, for example, in the Arctic, in North America, the polar bear, which isn't a bird, obviously, is in very, very bad danger of going extinct because the conditions are changing terribly. And the same thing can happen with birds or frogs or flowers and people.